the grape growers of Whooping Town. Whooping Town was known for its grapes. They grew everywhere. Rows and rows of vines stretched as far as the eye could see. The people of Whooping Town worked hard. They tended the vines, harvested the grapes, and made delicious juice. Life was simple, but it was good. The people were proud of their work. They took pride in their juicy, flavorful grapes. The air was always filled with the sweet smell of ripe grapes. Children played among the vines. Families gathered for picnics under the shade of the leafy canopy. Whooping Town was a place where life moved at a slower pace. It was a place where people valued hard work, but they also understood the importance of community and shared prosperity. Boss Bulio owned the biggest vineyard in Whooping Town. He was a fair man. He treated his workers with respect. He paid them fairly. He even gave them Sundays off. Boss Bulio wasn't just a boss. He was a mentor. He took the new workers under his wing. He taught them everything he knew about growing grapes. He emphasized the importance of safety. He made sure everyone knew how to work smart, not just hard. Aleke was one of Boss Bulio's best workers. He was young and strong. He was always eager to work. Aleke dreamed of one day owning his own vineyard. He knew he had to work hard to make his dream come true. He started working extra hours. He even took on a second job. Boss Bulio noticed Aleke's tireless efforts. He cautioned him about overworking. "Boss Bulio, you're a good worker, Aleke, but even the strongest oxen need rest. Don't burn yourself out." Aleke nodded politely. He appreciated Boss Bulio's concern, but he was determined to reach his goal. He continued working 2 jobs. Aleke's second job was with Boss DeCage. Boss DeCage was the opposite of Boss Bulio. He was greedy. He cared little for his workers. He pushed them hard. He offered extra pay for extra hours. He never gave them a day off. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Aleke was exhausted. He barely slept. He was always tired. He made mistakes. He cut himself with his pruning shears. He tripped over irrigation pipes. He spilled buckets of fertilizer. But he kept working. He felt like he was on a treadmill. He couldn't get off. Aleke was lying on his bed. He was still in his work clothes. He was pale and still. Boss Bulio checked for a pulse. There was none. Aleke was dead. He had died in his sleep. Exhaustion had claimed his life. Boss Bulio was devastated. He felt a surge of anger. He knew who was to blame. He knew where he had to go. S1, Ale, are you in there? Narrator, one Monday morning, Boss Bulio noticed something was wrong. Aleke wasn't at work. He wasn't answering his calls. Boss Bulio had a bad feeling. He went to Aleke's house. He knocked on the door. There was no answer. Boss Bulio's heart sank. He pushed the door open. Boss Bulio stormed into Boss DeCage's vineyard. He found him barking orders at his weary workers. Boss Bulio roared, his voice echoing through the vineyard. Boss DeCage turned around, startled. S1, you!
You worked him to death. You drove him to his grave.
Boss DeCage scoffed.
He was a grown man. He knew what he was doing.
Boss Bulio's fists clenched.
He was a good worker, ambitious, eager to please. You took advantage of him. You exploited his work ethic.
Boss DeCage simply shrugged, a callous indifference hardening his features.
The news of Aleke's death spread through Whooping Town like wildfire. They vowed to honor his memory. They demanded justice. S5. People were shocked. They were heartbroken. They had lost one of their own.
The people marched to the town square. They demanded a day of rest.
The townspeople stood united in their grief and anger. They carried signs that read, "Rest is a right, not a privilege, and justice for Aleke." Their voices, hoarse but resolute, rose in unison, demanding a change. They wanted to make sure no one else would suffer the same fate as Aleke. The town council met. They listened to the people. They knew they had to act. They passed a law. It was called the Aleke Law. It mandated 1 day of rest per week for all workers, no exceptions. The law also limited the number of hours people could work in a day. It ensured fair wages for overtime work. It emphasized worker safety and well-being. The people of Whooping Town learned a valuable lesson. They learned that rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. The ALK law extended beyond Whooping Town. It became a model for other towns. Soon, it became a national law. Companies were held accountable for worker safety. They had to follow regulations. They had to prioritize worker well-being. The tragedy of Al-Kay's death served as a wake-up call. It forced people to confront the true cost of unchecked ambition and relentless work. It highlighted the importance of balance. It reminded everyone that life is precious. Work should never come at the cost of one's health or well-being. Al-Kay's death was a tragedy, but it brought about much-needed change. It forced people to rethink their priorities. It reminded everyone that life is more than just work. It is about family, friends, and taking time for oneself. Justice for Al-Kay wasn't just about punishing Boster Cage. It was about creating a world where everyone understood the importance of rest. It was about ensuring that no one else would have to pay the ultimate price for simply wanting a better life. It was about honoring his memory by living a balanced life, filled with work, rest, and joy.